Once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a lemming farm. There, hundreds and hundreds of furry little lemmings frolicked in the sun and lived happy little lives. One day, however, the population of the lemmings became too great for their tiny little civilization to handle. So Papa Lemming decided it was time to move out and find a new home.
As they found a new home, many of them did not make it across the river. At that time, Papa Lemming figured out that the colony could not swim, so their troubles grew worse, for they could not find a new home with the river in the way.
So Papa Lemming decided that he needed to remove Leroy to keep his rule on the New York Lemming tribe. Papa Lemming kidnapped Leroy at night and fed him to Stray Cat, that was quite rotund already. To cover up for the loss of one of their friends, Papa Lemming convinced the others that Leroy was visiting his parents in Spain and wouldn't be back for months. Easily convinced, the lemmings thought nothing of it.
Then a miracle happens when one of the lemmings learns how to swim. Everyone was happy except Papa Lemming. Papa Lemming did not want to move to another place to live because the lemmings are learning how to swim. He needed a plan to stop the teachings of Leroy, the first lemming to figure out the trick of swimming.
So after much debate, the lemmings decided to elect Ralph Nader of the Green Party to rule them, after failing his run for the president for the 11th time. Nader had a prosperous rule, but when he failed to address the rising poverty rates in the lemming tribe, they voted to impeach him and rule as an autonomous collective of individuals in which none rules the sole authority, but instead work to govern themselves through group debates and a weekly communal.
Months went by and Leroy hadn't returned to the colony. The lemmings' worries grew and Papa Lemming had to keep his lie going. But he couldn't, it became too difficult, so he tells the lemmings what he has done. Everyone was devastated as they find a new leader.
Months passed before the lemmings finally arrived in Florida, and when they did arrive, they found the weather too hot, the senior population too high, and crocodile teeth to be too sharp. So in a radical turn of events, they moved back to New York. Now running out of food and money, they set out to find employment. Most of them ended up as test lemmings in labs, the result of which gave them horse DNA and a strong urge to eat hay and stand around in fields all day. Those who did not go to the labs worked as doorstops, and one strapping young lemming played guitar on the street to earn his money.
As they debated on the next place to live, they were getting heated over the constant arguing. Eventually, they came to an agreement to just stay in New York. They were happily running through Central Park Zoo. After months of living in New York, winter finally came, and they needed a new home once again. It was a bitter winter for the lemmings, but they set their minds on going to Florida.
After touring for a few years, the lead singer of Sinister Lemming left the group after an argument on paradimensional physics, and went on to win a Nobel Prize on the subject. He later donated millions of dollars towards creating a black hole on the moon for research purposes, and died at the ripe old age of 6, with his wife and 426 children, in a cottage in northern Alaska.
The lemming playing on the guitar was so good that someone offered him a record deal. The band was called the Sinister Lemming, an unusual name, but the music was fantastic. Everybody loved the lemming. There was toys, t-shirts, and other merchandise products. The market was skyrocketing for the little lemming. He eventually forgot about his family in New York and went on to live the best life a lemming can live. The kids were left there, no one to protect them from the dangers outside of their home they grew up in. It was a hard time for the little lemmings dealing with the death of their mother and father, but they had enough money to go start a new life in another country or state. They were talking about new homes. One of them suggested Japan. The others did not like this idea of busy walkways and traffic. Many days went by and a final decision came. It was Oklahoma they were moving to.